Hello everyone, Namaste, this is Shami Herons and welcome back to Yourwealth India. So in today's video, we're going to discuss why a financial year is important for you. Now before we go into that, I just want to let you know that this is going to be first video in the new playlist that we have made. It's called Your Money. So Your Money is something that we are going to talk more often going forward in our Yourwealth channel. Your Money basically focuses on the core concepts of personal wealth management with the objective of helping the individuals achieve financial independence. So alright, now let's go into the today's topic, and in order to understand the topic, first I think it's important that we realize that the path to financial independence is through a journey with different stages. It's kind of similar to a spirituality or a religion, where a person has to go through certain phases, certain stages in order to absorb the actual essence of that particular religion or that particular spirituality. In this journey of financial independence, one of the stages is identification. So it essentially means that when you're looking at things around you, things that you might have been seeing through a very long period of time, you need to look at them with a different perspective from a point of view of personal wealth management or personal finance. So in this video, we are going to look at this particular financial year calendar from the perspective of personal wealth management. I strongly believe that in order to improve something, it's very important. First important thing to do is to understand it. And how do you understand that? You understand things by observing them and analyzing them over a period of time. For example, let us say you're working in a particular company and you want to understand, or you want to see if you have improved after joining this particular company. So what do? So you look back at the date of or time month of your joining, and then year on year you try to compare yourself. You try to assess the things you have done in the first year, the things you have learned in the second year, and similar in third year, and try to assess that over this particular period of years, have you improved, have you grown as a individual, and that's how you assess whether you have grown in a job. Similarly, if you talk about a married life, for example, you want to see how you and your partner have grown after marriage. Then what do? You look at the things and the experiences you and your partner would have had since the date you guys got married. Every year you try to see, first year we went to this particular place, we did this particular type of experiences, and second year we did that, and third year, and so on. And year on year you try to compare and see how you have grown and you have developed as a couple. So every individual follows different kinds of calendars based on their relevance to the objectives that they are seeking. The most common calendar that we follow is the one that starts in the month of January and ends in the month of December. This is more influenced from the seasons that the planet Earth experiences, or rather you would say that it's kind of a solar calendar that we follow. Now if you think from that perspective, you might realize that there are so many other calendars that you follow on a regular basis. For example, there is an academic calendar, and then there is a harvesting calendar that the farmers follow, and there is appraisal calendar, and so on and so forth. So now the question comes that if your objective is to improve your personal wealth, which calendar year or which kind of year you should follow in order to assess your performance in the past? Well, the answer to that is quite simple, and in fact kind of bit of obvious as well. Well, we need to follow a financial year calendar that starts in the month of April and ends in the month of March next year for assessing our personal wealth management. Now you guys might ask, out of so many calendars that you have mentioned, why do you want to choose only financial year as the right period for assessment? Well, I think in order to understand that, you need to understand the basics of analysis. Well, in any kind of analysis that you do when you are selecting a period, the main criteria in doing so is that the key parameters that are involved in achieving your objectives, the pattern of these key parameters should remain constant throughout this period. Now this might sound quite confusing right now, so let's try to take an example so that you'll have a better understanding of the same. So what can be a key parameter when we talk about personal finance? Well, income is definitely a key parameter. I hope you agree with that. So now if we look at income and if you look at a financial year, I think for most of the salaried people, and I think to a great extent to all the businessmen as well, the income will kind of remain constant throughout the financial year. However, if you're talking about the normal calendar year, my income from January to the month of March will be different than my income from April to December, and hence there is a disturbance in the pattern. However, it's not the case in when we talk about a particular financial year. However, there will be of course certain exceptions. For example, if you get a new job or perhaps you lose a job, there will be change in your income within a financial year as well. But those again, these are the exceptions. This can happen in calendar year or whatever other calendars that we choose. So however, if we look at normal conditions in a financial year, the income most probably will remain constant. And not only income, when we talk about other performance parameters, let us say tax is one of the key parameters where that influences your personal wealth. Well, tax is also calculated and assessed based on a financial year, the income that you get in a particular financial year. So if you want to look at your performance in terms of like how your income has increased or how you have been able to reduce your debt, or the other performance in other parameters relevant to your personal finance, you need to compare this from one financial year to another financial year. You can say that over the last 3 years my income has been increasing at the rate of 10% or 15%, and when we're talking about year, these are going to be financial years. So if you are someone who believes in personal wealth management, who believes that by following good practices you will be able to achieve your goals, or you will be able to manage your life in a more efficient way, then you must realize that we have entered into a new financial year, and this is something more significant than the usual calendar year that we celebrate, right? We all celebrate Happy New Year, we wish each other Happy New Year when in the 1st of January, but I think 1st of April is even more significant and relevant to us than the 1st of January. So now is the time for you to come up with financial resolutions, financial goals, and then plans on what steps needs to be taken or what initiatives that needs to be taken to achieve them. And apart from that, it is also a time for you to celebrate in case you had a good past financial year. It's also time to celebrate that success, and then again it's also a time to prepare yourself for the next financial year so that it becomes much more successful than your past financial year. So I hope you like the concept of today's video. Maybe it won't have a very direct and immediate impact on how you're going to manage your personal wealth, but it's, as I said, it's a journey, and definitely it's one important step in understanding and identifying that among all the other calendars that we follow, financial calendar is something very critical and needs to be taken seriously. It's time to make financial resolutions, time to assess your performance in terms of personal wealth management compared to last year and years before that. So guys, that's all for today's video, and I hope if you like this concept, this new way of looking at things, then please hit the like button on the video. And in case you also have such unique or different perspectives that you think that we should be talking about, then just put those comments in the comment box. And in case you haven't still subscribed our channel, I request you to please go ahead and subscribe our channel. And yeah, so that's all for today. Meet you next time in our next video. Till then, namaste and goodbye.